About something. Someone reached out to me and said I'm talking about risk, that loan. Doesn't I should stop encouraging young people to be borrowing money and all that. And honestly, it's true. But I believe that is maturity. That's what determines if you're qualified to borrow money. But one thing I'll not stop talking about is risk. And what do I mean risk? I'm not just talking about financial risk. I'm talking about you have to take chances. Let me use the word chances, okay? If you have been dreaming to travel, take a travel. If you have been dreaming to write a book, write that book. If you have been to start a business, make that move. Do not stay in one place, okay? Maybe I won't talk about it. I will advise young people take those chances because I've seen a lot of older women, older guys, and ask them what are some of their biggest regrets. They wanted to visit some country, they wanted to visit some places, write a book, start a business, write a course, try a career. They ended up becoming what they didn't aspire to be. I've seen people that because of their parents they read to become medical doctor. They went to engineering schools, they picked up courses and careers they didn't want. They relocated to some countries. Some did not even relocate. In fact, do you know that your blessing might actually be tied to another place apart from where you are? Maybe you're living in an area, you're living in a country, you're living in a state, and for some reason God wants to remove you from that place to another place. So that's what I mean by risk. There are people that in fact, yesterday I was talking to a cousin of mine who wasn't doing so well, and I told her, look, she's a supplier to one of these big South African brands. I don't want to talk. And if you go to all their branches all over the country, it's going down. And I told her, why don't we'll reason together, why don't you go another thing? She said, no, I'm too old to be doing that. Too old? Sis, you're just 41 years old. I'm almost 10 years older than you. I'm still grinding. She said, no, I don't want to stress myself. So what are you going to do? And I see her living in squalor, always calling, can you borrow me money? Can you do it? No. I'm talking to the young guys. Don't let anybody discourage you. The country, I want to put it like this. Nigeria is not designed for your failure or success. I repeat it again. The country, Nigeria, is not designed for your success or failure. Okay? America, those of you that are traveling to America, you're going to UK, is not actually designed for your success or your failure. Okay? You design your way. That's why you go to California, you go to places in London, you have pickpockets, people that were born there. You come to Lagos. Why would somebody leave Kano, come to Lagos and is successful, while he came here to meet many of us and is doing better than us? It's diligence. Why will a Nigerian travel all the way from here and goes to Canada and in 2 years he's doing very well? Meanwhile, there are people that have lived there for 30-something years. Okay? So it's about you determining how you want to live your life. Many people do not want to. So life, you must take chances. I just want to share a story of two stories. One is mine. One is that my sister's one I was talking about. Okay? Now, is it 2020 or something? When COVID came out, I did 28 million in about how long was it? About 2 months, 28 million naira sales, and my profit was high. What happened? I saw COVID coming and research, and I was watching CNN one day, and I saw that they were doing sanitizer. What did I do? I contacted a guy in Port Harcourt who during the last time they did Ebola, he created sanitizers, and I reached out to him and said, hey, I need a formula for this, and he charged me about, if I remember, about almost 200,000 naira. He's a chemist, and we came up, we used Carbopol, we used glycerin, we used alcohol, and some things, perfume, and we came up with a wonderful, we tested it, hand sanitizer. This is before anybody started going into it. Okay. Now I got it, I did a sample, and I started producing. Next thing, NAFDAC reached out that look, you need it. But then the good luck is that they were not, NAFDAC couldn't visit your site. So we did a virtual inspection. I had my gloves, I had the overall. You have to demarcate the room. The processes NAFDAC take. Anyway, I got my NAFDAC number in a week. Can you believe that? And I started supplying supermarket. We could not meet up to demand. This is before everybody got into sanitizer work. But I'm talking about like 2 weeks into the COVID when it hit America. The demand was massive. Now, along the line, there was a gentleman I supplied, a supermarket in Banana Island. I supplied them. I will take 200 sanitizers there, and by morning it's gone. I will move 500 sanitizers by morning, is finished selling. Then people have not started asking for. The demand for sanitizer was so much. I was sometime in a week, I was doing 3 million naira sales in a week. I couldn't cope. Now, somebody reached out to me from Abuja. He said he came, a politician that lives in Banana Island. He went to the supermarket and he bought a sanitizer. He liked my product. And he said, can you supply the National Assembly? Yes, I supplied the National Assembly. And that deal got me about, I think it was about 8 million naira. And this is something that took us 2 days to fulfill. To ship it, it was a lot. I went to Uyingbo. We went to Uyingbo. We rented a truck. There's this Hausa trucks that goes to Abuja. Now, what am I trying to say about risk and rewards? Along the line, another order came again. There was a senator that wanted to do it and brand it on his name. Now, the contract was going to worth me about 10 million naira then. Then I needed money quick. But I needed to move it myself. So I took a loan, an overdraft from my account, about 3.5 million. I got into that, I produced, I bought the drums, I bought the plastic somewhere at Ojota. I want to get it. And all I'm just saying is that I took chances, okay? And it became profitable. I made about 28 million in profits. I'm not talking about my sales. I made about 28 million in 2 months before everybody started getting to it. And by the time they were getting to it, I left. Even people made money after that. But now there was a big thing. A lot of government hospitals started reaching out to me. You know, I was supplying small, but there was a hospital in the West. Her name was Alaja. She's a matron in one of the central hospitals. So they wanted to buy from there. They ship it to all their different hospitals, one of the Western states. And we negotiated. I didn't even meet her. It was through the phone. We talked and everything. The contract was to be about 18 million. Okay? Supply them sanitizer. That took me about massive alcohol that we put, the carbopol, and all the things we put inside to come up with a disinfectant. Now, where am I going with this? We prepared it. We did everything. They didn't give me advance because all the other ones I was doing, money was coming. It was not a debatable. That project, when it was going on, it was very profitable. Okay, so I did it. I loaded the truck. After I did it, third day, we didn't sleep. We were working for like 16 hours every day, and we got it done in 2 days, 2.5 days. And we moved it. I'm just trying to tell you about disappointment, that you can plan everything and things will not work according to how you want it. So we loaded the sanitizer. I and my staff, we went and we got a truck. We rented the truck alone was 500,000, and we went to the States in the West. And when we got there, the big truck was blocking way. They told us to put it aside. Waiting. I was waiting for my money. Meanwhile, I spoke to the Alaja 2 days before. All right. And when I got there, I said I was looking for Alaja. I dropped my LPO, everything. And they told me, once you bring your money will be paid even 2 days before. I didn't bother. Guess what? When I got there and I said I was looking for Alaja, they said, Lich Alaja, the head of admin. And they took me to our office. And when I got there, I saw a different person. They like, what do you want? And I said, they spoke in Yoruba. And I hear a bit of Yoruba. They said, oh, T Bonnie. I said, no. They said, Alaja is dead. Alaja has died. I had the truck driver outside. I had my staff outside. I had people I was owing my money I've invested. I was coming to pick up a check of 18 million. And I sat down. And I looked at them in the face. I said, can I ask a question, please? Did Alaja mention about me? And they said somebody has died. They're talking about mention about you. And cut the long story short, and I looked at the gentleman that looked like who they were giving the next contract to. And I went to meet him to negotiate. Please, bros, can we just work it out? I give you this. You know, something is worth 18 million naira. Give me 10 million. You don't bother to need to reproduce and everything. The guy said no, he wanted to do his own. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was how I turned back and started coming back to Lagos with a truckload of sanitizer. Now, maybe I'll show some of the products of what we did. And I started supplying supermarket, but the sales wasn't going as it was going anymore. And I was stuck with sanitizer for more than 5. In fact, I still have some of them in my warehouse that I'm still using. So life is about risk and reward, okay? The second one is, I've shared it in a story, but I'll just share it again. My own father, when he quit, my father was a civil servant. When he retired, he was paid a pension, and they gave me a reasonable amount of pension. Now, as a man who was a civil servant, he didn't know any business, okay? And we now said, okay, you've retired. You know, salary used to come in. I was in university then. What are we going to do? And my father, we were all brainstorming. What can you do? Do we set up a restaurant? You are not a tailor. You can't sew. Do we go into building? Money is not enough. Meanwhile, my father had an uncompleted building I was building where he was going to retire to at Badagry. And for whatever, his reason was that he wants to be carrying rice or whatever then. This is like, this will be about 20 years ago or 20-something years ago, okay? Anyway, we settled for transportation. We settled for transportation, like, going CMS, Oshodi, those things. And my father bought a Tokumbo bus. But when we went to buy it, the guy said if we can take, he had about 6 or 7. Say if you can take all, he'll give discount to resell. I wanted to relocate out of the country. My father said, no, let me buy only one. So we bought one. We took it home. We prayed about it. We blessed it. We celebrated. And we got a driver, somebody from our village, and we gave him to start driving. First month, beautiful. Second month, beautiful. My father said, you know what? I'll stop that house. I'm making so much money. Let me go start. Let me go buy the other 5, the other 4. Let me add 4 more. I'm like, 4 more? Then I think the Tokumbo buses were about maybe 22,000 or thereabouts, something like that. And my father went, we took all his pension, the money, all his pension, and we went to buy 4 more. They all drove it back. In fact, the guy brought it to the house. And we look and we got 5 drivers. And we started doing. First month fine, second month fine. By the 3rd month, our house was chaos. By the 3rd month, and ASU had strike then. So, but when they called off the strike, my father, I told my dad, look, I'm going back to school. I need money. It was something else then. There was no money there. If the transporters are not giving us story, police stopped me on the road, tie rod broke today, area boys knocked the engine, there was no last man then, all kinds of problems from transportation. In fact, it was so bad at the time that when you come to my house, you can't see me or any of my younger brothers at home. We're either doing conductor for the bus or we're driving. And I went to meet my dad that, look, I'm going back to school. ASU has called back strike. You have to go back. My father said, I don't have money. Go and take one of the bus and fix. So I took the bus, repaired a few things, and I entered the road. And somehow along Bar Beach, the car broke down at night. I slept with the car into morning before mechanic came to fix it. So what am I just trying to say? Life is about risk and reward. Sometimes you gain, sometimes you lose. But the most important thing, I think my father, we didn't do research on it. On the sanitizer one I talked about, it was very profitable. I made money, even though I think I should have taken advance from Elijah. If I've taken advance of even 3 million from it, 4 million, it wouldn't have the impact that I had. Though I sold the product and I made my money, but it took a long time. I had to beg people to start taking. Imagine something that was supposed to distribute for a whole state. You now stuck with it in the house. There was no space in my house. I packed it at the back of the house and I started retailing them gradually until we were able to sell it. Okay. Now the 3rd one story, I've sold that before, which was my cousin I talk about. She asked for loan from me, from cousins, from brothers. Nobody gave her, including myself. What I try to do is that if I want to support you, I'll support you. But if I don't want to, if I don't have, I don't have. Okay. I try not to have a lot of cash on me. That's what I do. Any small money that comes on me, any profit, I put it in a business or I save it and fix it and put it away, because things like that. So she decided she wanted to start a baking. She just told us she learned how to do meat pie, cake, egg roll, all those things. That her own is good. So I told her, let's see your sample. So she came on a Sunday, she baked, she brought it, I tasted it. Very nice, very, very nice. She paid and learned it. She went to a school. A lady in somewhere at Ojota, the lady taught her. She learned it very, very well. Now, what remained was she needed resources to start. She didn't have money. So I told her, how much do you have? Maybe she had 50,000 or something. I said, well, what you're going to do, go and get a job. Go and get a job. So she went to get a job and start saving. It doesn't have to be immediately. So for many of you that are coming to, it doesn't have to, sometimes you make sacrifice. So when she saved out 250K, I told her, go to your loan app, and she borrowed another 250K, became 500 naira, 500,000. I told her, you don't need a shop. Go to the bus stop, look for a store mall, dress very neat, put on your apron, brand your name. And that's what she did. She started gradually, she put it in a glass shelf. Did her change even remain from the 500,000? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That lady is doing very well. She has store, at least in 3 different marinas. She has at Obalende. She's trying to set up a 3rd one. She's generating money. She's employing over 6-7 people. Okay? The thing is that it's not how much you make. I repeat it again. It's how much you're able to use and utilize in what you do. It's not how much you make in life. That young lady is an employer of labor, more than 8 staff already, doing very well, thinking of her 3rd outlet. She's doing comfortably very well, supporting 2 of her younger ones in school. So it's not the line of business. Some of you ask me, what line of business can I do? It's for you to study what you want to do. I'll give you my final story. This is someone I know. Many of you talk about POS. Now, when I had multiple outlets of my business, I saw when POS came out. I said, okay, let me try it. But I couldn't. I felt that the risk to reward ratio is too low. Okay, I give the girl 1 million, and by the time she finished selling it, I told her, how much do I gain? Whether I'm going to get 25,000. It reminds me of my oil business, what the oil is now. A tanker, I had the profit has reduced as against our own time. All right. So this my friend said, look, I'm quitting my job. I want to go into POS. I said, POS that people do. Anyway, I don't know the trick. I don't know what he does. But currently, that guy between Victoria Island and a place called Awoyaya, I repeat, between Victoria Island and a place called Awoyaya, that guy has about 50 POS locations. He has 2 car supervisors that go around. Most of the people that buy brand new money for parties, they have his number. I don't know how he does it. And recently he told me if I can invest in his business, I want to start an app, a fintech. I don't know, giving loan and how they can transfer money, buy new notes. He's setting up an app. I'm giving out his secret, but that's what it is. He has over 50 people working for him. You see his staff with brand new money, people that work for him, his brand. So the point I'm making is that life, take chances, take calculated chances, and if you do take and it didn't work, please go back and try again. Okay? So I just want to share the story of failure on my side, success, failure on the other side. Have a beautiful day. My name is Sam. Most of you that are leaving comment, I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a consultant, but some of you are saying that I should put out a book on how I paid off my loan. I'll look into that. All right. I'm going to keep sharing, keep staying strong, keep believing. Don't let anyone discourage you. Have a beautiful day. And once again, who told you that you cannot be a millionaire working for somebody? That's a myth. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to share people I know who work for people, who work in companies, and they're still very successful. All right. Have a beautiful day.